From China's most successful railroad to Japan's island airport to America's most expensive highway project, here are 5 of the most expensive construction projects ever built. Which construction project had the greatest impact on your country? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for your chance to get $1,000. But now let's move on. Number 5. The Channel Tunnel. When it comes to costly maritime transit projects, it's hard to look past the Channel Tunnel that connects England to France across the English Channel. This canal carries high-speed trains more than 50 kilometers underwater and currently holds the record for the longest underwater tunnel in the world. The idea for this underwater tunnel linking France and Britain has been around since the early 18th century, but political turmoil and limitations in technology meant it took nearly a couple of centuries before it was finally built. On the British side, drilling started in 1987, and a year later France also started construction. The most difficult task was to ensure that the 2 tunnels would actually meet. To be sure, special surveying equipment and lasers were used. Despite these devices, it was a great relief when they actually met on December 1, 1990. For the first time in history, France and Great Britain were linked by a tunnel. The entire project cost $12 billion and was completed 6 years after launch. As a tribute to its achievements in construction, it has been named one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. An expensive and very exciting project. Number 4. The New Suez Canal. Completed in 1869, the original Suez Canal is the shortest sea connection between the Indian and Western Pacific Oceans and Europe. It remains the busiest shipping lane in the world, stretching 193 kilometers. The importance of the Suez Canal is illustrated by the fact that a blockade caused over $50 billion in trade losses. Last year, around 12% of world trade flowed through this channel. Although most of the canal, despite its enormous importance, allowed only a single shipping lane and an average of 49 cargo ships docked daily. So in 2014, Egypt began building a second 35-kilometer shipping lane parallel to the Suez Canal. The new Suez Canal also widened and deepened part of the old waterway. The project was completed just a year later for $9.2 billion and eased two-way traffic. This canal also helped to minimize the waiting time for ships passing through. Because of these restrictions, the number of cargo ships passing through the Suez Canal will increase to 100 by 2023. In 2023, this channel is expected to generate over $10 billion in revenue. It is one of the most expensive construction projects, should it make up for the billions spent on its construction. Number 3. Kansai International Airport. Now let's take a trip to the Kansai region of Japan and take a closer look at the world's first airport built on an artificial island. One of Asia's busiest airports, Kansai International Airport can remain operational 24 hours a day due to its isolated location. When this offshore airport was approved, the site for its construction did not exist, so an artificial island that can accommodate a world-class airport had to be built first. Construction work on this artificial island began in 1987. 30 meters of earth were laid on the water. To do this, 2 mountains were smashed and poured into a seabed made up of thousands of heavy sand tubes, creating an artificial island 2.5 kilometers wide and 4.5 kilometers long, which was completed in 1990. 4 years later, the airport was completed, and in 1994, it was officially opened. After a few repairs, remodels, and the addition of a second runway, the total cost rose to $24 billion. However, technical innovation and novel location made Kansai International Airport an instant hit. More than 30 million passengers used Kansai International Airport in 2019, and it ranked 3rd in Japan behind Tokyo Airport and Narita International Airport. However, it still lags far behind Beijing Capital International Airport, which surpassed 100 million passengers in the same year. As such, expansions are underway that will allow the airport to accommodate 40 million international passengers annually by 2025. Number 2. Boston's Big Dig. In 1987, this project was finally approved to replace the old Central Artery Road, which could only accommodate 75,000 vehicles per day. However, more than twice as many cars were on the road every day, which could lead to delays of up to 10 hours. An 8-lane underground highway was planned to solve this problem. This highway was to pass 4 miles under the heart of Boston. Construction of the Big Dig began in 1991 and should have been completed 7 years later. As with any megaproject, however, there were a few issues and delays. The tunnel's proximity to Boston Harbor raised environmental concerns, and it was not until 1994 that authorities were able to obtain the necessary environmental permits. In addition, the construction was made more difficult by two subway tracks lying in the way and the substance of the ground. The area through which the tunnels were to be dug was mostly landfill. Furthermore, foundations of buried houses and even a number of sunken ships had to be removed. During the process, they also made some archaeological discoveries from before the revolution. As a result, the originally planned $2.8 billion cost skyrocketed, and the project was completed 9 years late in 2007, with the Boston Globe estimating that the project will ultimately cost $22 billion, including interest, and that it will not be fully paid off by 2038. But the project improved the traffic situation in this area. It can handle over 250,000 vehicles a day, ensuring a smoother flow of traffic and easier access to the city. However, the city still has major problems with traffic. On the other hand, the completion of the Big Dig has reduced carbon monoxide levels in the area and contributes to a better quality of life for residents. The previous highway has been removed, and approximately 300 hectares of land have been cleared for parks, green projects, and open spaces. Number 1. The Beijing-Shanghai Bullet Train. This railway line cuts travel time in half and was completed in just 3 years. Built at a cost of $40 billion, the railroad opened to the public in 2011 and is 820 miles long. Over the past decade of operation, over 1.3 billion people have traveled on this train line. Every day, 50 bullet trains run at a speed of almost 350 kilometers from Beijing to Southdown to Jinan, pass through Nanjing, and complete a journey to Shanghai in under 5 hours. Before that, the same journey took around 12 to 14 hours before this high-speed line opened in 2019. The rail line alone carried over 200 million passengers, with daily ridership at 690,000. This project used $40 billion in taxpayers' money and ended up being a resounding success. Many Chinese high-speed trains operate on subsidies and losses, but the Beijing-Shanghai high-speed railway was able to generate nearly $1 billion in revenue in 2015. The company's net income grew by up to 41% each year through 2022. This incredible success of the railway line even hit the Shanghai Stock Exchange in January 2020. It debuted on the stock market after one of the largest IPO in Chinese history, in which the company raised around $4.5 billion and sold over 6 billion shares on the first day. The most expensive transit megaproject has remained profitable even during the current difficult economic situation. To date, it is the most profitable railway line in the world. Have you traveled with or through one of these expensive megaprojects? Be sure to write it in the comments and subscribe to this channel to be able to get $1,000.